I am going to tell you about Fender's latest product, the Switchboard. This is a MIDI controller and true bypass strip that was made in conjunction with RJM Music, which, as you know, is my favorite company in the area of MIDI controllers and switchers. They do an incredible job, so the fact that they paired up with Fender is something that is truly exciting. And so I really want to show you guys the Switchboard today. The basic overview of this is, again, it's a MIDI controller. You can send program changes and CC messages to all of your MIDI-enabled devices, but there's a little bit more to it. You have 5 loops, the last of which is stereo. So the 5th loop is a mono send stereo return, and you can reorder these loops in any combination that you want per preset. Lastly, it has an internal volume control, which acts as a volume pedal, that you can place in between any of the 5 loops. You can even put it at the very end of your chain or the very beginning, all again controlled per preset. There's some of the other standard features you'd find on an RJM controller, like buffered inputs and outputs, all of which you can turn on and off, amp switching, which means you can change your amp channels, or you can control a pedal on your board that can receive relay controls like the pinwheel today. I use the Switchboard to control the fast and slow switch. All in all, the Switchboard has got all of the key features for those of you that are MIDI curious, wanting to get into the world of MIDI, but maybe it's felt a little intimidating up until this point. Fender has worked their magic on the user interface, and I was able to get this up and running and programmed in less than 10 minutes after reading the manual. Something that, for me, that's saying something. I usually take a while to get into a pedal, but this one was quick. So let's get into the different modes that you can use. We'll start with loop mode and then work our way over to bank mode, which is essentially presets. So currently we're on loop mode. Basically, loop mode is instant access. One button corresponds to one loop. So I can turn a pedal on and I can turn it right back off again really easily and quickly. It's an easy way to access all of the pedals that you have in the loops on your switcher. You can also change the order of the loops, which I really want to show you. All you do to edit is hit these 2 buttons, the encoder knob, and now we can change the order of the loops. And this is where the intuitive section of Switchboard comes in. All we're going to do is hit the button of the loop we want to appear first. So I'm going to start with loop 2, which is overdrive, compressor, tone X for amps. Then I'm going to hit the foot switch button for volume. Then we'll go chorus and super ego. Hit the 2 buttons again and we'll exit out. Now everything is saved. My volume pedal should work. Let's do a volume swell. And I can turn on, chorus is on right now, let's turn on an overdrive. Turn off the chorus. Loop mode is great for instant access and messing around with signal chain order, a really powerful tool. Once you want to get into presets though, you can hold down button 5 and we are now in bank mode. This is one of my favorites. This is where you can save combinations of PC messages on MIDI, CC, loop order, buffers, amp channel switching, all per preset, and you can save up to 400 presets on the Switchboard. Pretty incredible. So let me show you a couple of these things and what I've been able to do with Switchboard and the onboard programming. First, we'll start out with a delay sound. And on this one, the expression pedal is acting as a volume pedal, controlling the internal volume pot on Switchboard. Let me show you what it does. Now if we go over to the next preset, which is a reverb preset, I'm going to change H9, which you'll be able to see on the pedal. I'll also change amps on the tone X via MIDI, And the expression pedal is now going to turn into a level control for the reverb decay. So a lot is changing with one button push. Let me show you. Now volume will not be controlled by the expression pedal, it'll control the reverb. Pull it back. You'll also see that the amp on the Tonex has changed to a matchless. If I wanted to edit the MIDI commands, I can actually go into the preset, use the encoder to scroll over to MIDI, select it, and I can select PC or CC messages, and also what the expression pedal is going to control, again, per preset. After that, you save it, and you're done. All in all, the Switchboard is great if you want to get into MIDI, you want to get into basic switchers and loop reordering. It's a small form factor, 5 loops, and it really has the user interface to get rid of the intimidation you might feel from other MIDI controllers which are more complex and feature-packed. It's a great first unit to get your pedalboard up and running in a more efficient way. The most common complaint I get from people when they want to get a custom setup is they want to stop the tap dance. So now with bank mode, you can hit one button and a whole range of changes from MIDI to loop order to loops turning on and off can happen with one button push. Truly incredible in such a small form factor. I'm going to do more videos and deep dive into the Switchboard in the future. Put your comments below on what you'd love to see, and I'll make sure I do my best to add it into the next video. Hope that's been helpful, guys. That has been the Switchboard. I'll see you next week for another video on the Goodwood Audio YouTube channel.